My intention for you today in presenting confidently being seen is I'm speaking to you that is on the brink of breaking through the barrier of being seen. And I hope you leave here today, even if it's 1%, but I know it's going to be more. It's going to be more than 1%. I think you're going to be fired up at the end of today. I hope you leave here at least 1% more ready to show your authentic self to the world, because it is necessary in order for you to help people in your business. So just to backtrack, we started building that self-belief. We went into loving that imposter. We then created confident, loving, self-prioritizing boundaries as being the best thing for everyone else around you. And now we're going to really challenge you with getting visible, being seen out there. I'm going to start off with a powerful quote. If we all shrunk in our ability to serve because of what a few people might think of us or say, where would we be as humans? I love that quote. That is by Brendan Burchard. And that is true. Anything and everything, as far as we have come, has been created through that law that we talked about on day one of self-belief, of human potential. We have limitless human potential. We are creators. We are innovators. We have so much in us that we could never possibly tap in a lifetime. And anything and everything out there that you have ever bought that you use every day in your home has been because someone has been brave enough to be seen. So just take that in as food for thought. I'm going to start off with just a few statistics when we're talking about being seen, because being seen is also being heard. 23% of Americans have a fear of public speaking. More people have a fear of public speaking than death, actually, according to statistics. But it's 23% of Americans. 50% of entrepreneurs fail. I think they quit. Because what is failure? Failure is a myriad of different things to different people, but essentially they quit by year 5. And if you think of everything you're struggling with and what you're struggling with the most, it has to do with you being seen or heard, no matter what it is. I'm procrastinating, I'm frozen, I'm afraid, I don't talk well, I'm judging myself harshly, the imposter. There's all some underlying fear of being seen or being heard. And this is why businesses quit by year 5. So whether you call it being seen, showing up, being visible, getting yourself out there, that's how a lot of people put it, which even just sounds scary. I don't like to use that word, get myself out there, because it sounds like you're just sort of exposed to the world. And the truth is, you're not. We are all meant to serve and help people in our lifetime. And that means our network. That could be your home. That could be your family as a stay-at-home mom. And if you're an aspiring nurse coach to start a business, the amount of people that you need to have a thriving business is very, very small. It is a microcosm of the macrocosm. So your nervous system is registering, getting out there like you're being so exposed to the world, but there's a gazillion people in the world, and you are only meant to impact and help your network. So this small little piece of that world. And why? Why talk about this at all? Why do we want to get visible? Well, for 3 reasons. In order to create a business, in order to create clients, people need to know, like, and trust you. 3 words, simple. Know, like, trust. And how are people going to know, like, or trust you if you don't get visible? So getting visible is essential to forming relationships and creating clients. Connection is key. People want to connect with a real person. So putting your face and your voice out there helps them to know that you're a real person, and they can make a judgment call as to whether or not you resonate with them. Authenticity attracts. Sharing your passion, your knowledge, and your personality through videos or photos lets potential clients see the real you. They can't help but like you for you and who you are. Know this. Think of the people that you know, like, and trust out there that are sharing themselves on social media. In this day and age, we're a little greedy. We actually want to see our people brushing their teeth, going to the gym, doing everyday life things. It humanizes them. And that's what we like. Who doesn't love reality shows? I love reality shows because we like to see the drama of the human condition in action. entertaining for people. And trust builds relationships. When clients can see and hear the real you, they can trust you. And trust is the foundation for long-lasting client relationships and any relationship. So I've come up with 4 steps to becoming visible, and it goes a little bit deeper than you'd think, guys. As always, we're always going deep. When it comes to my container, we're always going beneath the surface. Number 1, first step in getting visible is decide. Make the decision. And what's the decision you're making? You're deciding that overcoming your fear of visibility is worth it. And what is it worth? It's worth the time. It's worth the energy. It's worth the money. What did we say on day 1 of building belief, self-belief? What's blocking your self-belief? You not believing you're worth the time and the energy and the money of the pursuit. The endeavor is moving forward. You're holding yourself back from that. And that's what's holding back your visibility. So, like it or not, decide that visibility is absolutely necessary in order to create the service-based business that you so desire and aspire and dream about. You can see that vision. There's the money freedom and the time freedom, and you're helping clients in an aligned way. It mandates that you get visible. So decide. And what is one of the top things that women in my container actually come to me for? They want to create confidence in their decision-making process and in their decisions. That is what they're really struggling with. And what do we as nurse coaches need to make every day in our own business that used to be made for us? We need to make decisions. So isn't it interesting that we're in the job, we're trying to get out of the job, and we don't like being told what to do, and we don't like being bossed around. And then when we're in our business, it's too much freedom. It's too many decisions. We don't like it. Well, this is an easy one. Decide it's worth the journey, the work involved. It's necessary. Decide you're worthy. Intrinsic worthiness. We talked about that on day 1. And what are you worthy of? The time, the effort, the energy, the money you're going to spend on pursuing this dream of yours. Make it bigger than you. Get over yourself. Make it about the bigger mission and the bigger purpose that will drive you forward. It needs to be bigger, guys. This is a deep fear. You're not alone in it. Just like imposter syndrome, you're not alone. You're not alone in your fear of visibility. The fear is real and it goes deep. And in order to do this work and invest the time and the energy involved in overcoming it, make it bigger than you. I just want to share 5 years ago when I went on a healing journey, it was a rock bottom moment that had to do with my parenting journey that led me to doing the excruciatingly painful work involved in healing my childhood trauma. And I do wonder if I didn't have kids, if I would have done that, because it was like almost like it was for them. I don't know that if it was just for me that it would have like been enough to drive me forward. So make it about a bigger mission, a bigger purpose of serving and helping people. And I know your nurses, I know you're so good at doing this, at serving and helping. This is in your nature. This is part of what your purpose is. So use it to your advantage. Use it to drive you forward. Number 2, heal. Second step to getting visible. Heal your inner child. And you may be saying, oh, does it really need to go that deep? Yes, because every part of you that's holding you back is afraid. And who's afraid? The child parts of you. Our subconscious mind banks and stores memories. You spend your entire life in adulthood trying to stay safe and to never, ever end up recreating those memories. And what are those memories in your subconscious mind? They're your emotions. They're your feelings. So whenever you step into the light, decide to try to go on video or make a post and something pulls you back, something feels heavy, you start overthinking and you start spinning in your mind, that is a past part of you that is deathly afraid of being seen and heard. Because what happened back then when you were seen and heard? Just think about that for a minute. And I want you to right now, just hand on heart, take a deep breath in. And I want to speak right to that really vulnerable part of you that's afraid of getting visible and just say, I've got you. What's in the way? What child or past version of me is afraid of being seen? And drop in and really listen. I want to share a personal story, what I just did with you. I also showed you how to do that with your imposter, how to drop in and talk to her. I had an opportunity to practice what I coached this morning. This morning, I was very nervous about this call. Like I pace when I spin and I like aimlessly wander in my house like a crazy person. And I was doing that. And I caught myself and I just said, I remembered exactly what I was teaching you. And it just came to me. And I was like, oh, let me just acknowledge this is the imposter. The second I acknowledged her, the second I just said that, and I just took a deep breath in, remembered, oh, you're trying to keep me safe. You're trying to protect me from being seen, from being heard. I get it. But you know what? We're going to be okay. And I just said that to myself. And my anxiety probably went down from about a 9 to like a 5 in that moment, just from taking that nice deep breath in. I really felt the shift in my body. And I was like, oh my God, I have to share this with them. So, same thing. When you're feeling that fear of visibility, acknowledge that fear. Don't run from it and listen. When we're running and we're trying to get out of and we're trying to not feel, we're abandoning and we're afraid. We're afraid to drop in because we think we're going to magnify it. And that's not true. Dropping in usually subsides and releases it. What does this look like? What does your inner child look like? Sabotaging or getting in the way of your visibility? You getting triggered? You being stuck in scarcity, lack, and unworthiness mindset? You thinking, oh, I'm not going to make an offer. Why would they pick me? They have no reason to pick me. They're going to pick some other coach. Unable to propose in a container. Maybe you've gotten clients. Maybe you've been in this situation where you've gotten on the call and then at the last minute you just decided, no, I'm not proposing. Like I don't want to put myself out there because to that child part, that vulnerable part, risking rejection or failure feels like annihilation on some level. It almost feels like the end of you. So remember, she's there to protect you and keep you in your comfort zone. And your job is to meet her where she's at and let her know you've got her, take the keys out of her hands and move forward. Number 3, mindset. We want to do the mindset work. I love this song by Bobby Hamrick. It's called Get Over Myself. I've got to find myself to know myself. I got to know myself to be myself. I got to be myself to improve myself. I've got to improve myself to get over myself so that I can give myself to you. So we have to get over ourselves. And the journey of getting over ourselves, which is what we need to get visible, is finding myself, knowing myself, being myself, using and aligning your healing and growth journey with your business journey is going to grow you so strongly because you're going to get such an amazing self-discovery from this. There's no other way to do it. So taking on a growth mindset, deciding you can learn by failing, by falling, by making mistakes. You don't need to be anything that you're not. Being authentic is key. Lead with honesty, integrity, and love. And who are you doing this for? Focus on value, service, love, and forget about yourself. This is crucial. Whenever you're overthinking in the container, I do this all the time. I practice mindfulness in the container with clients. When I'm in a container with a client and I start worrying about my next question, or I start thinking about where I'm going to take them, or I start almost getting like nervous about where we're going to go next, I breathe into my body and I remember that the most loving thing, the most powerful thing I can do for them is deeply listen. Because whenever I'm doing that, I'm focusing on me. So forgetting about ourselves, getting the focus off of ourselves and thinking of those who we're serving really is so helpful to reframe your mind and to help you to move forward with the courage to get visible. When you do this deep healing work and mindset work, you're not just telling yourself a story, right? And you're not just telling yourself a story or a lie. You're actually living a new story. You're doing the work to live the new story. And it's not perfect, and that's okay. Number 4, take action. Start small. Begin with lowest hanging fruit. That means what is available to you right now. It's usually that thing that you've tried to do that maybe held yourself back from doing. It's available to you right now, but you're a little scared to do it. For you, maybe it's a post with a picture. I had a client who would never post her face in her photos. So she was posting and she was making reels, but it was always like with her hands doing stuff. Now she's full face, full body, the whole thing. She has come such a long way. It has been so beautiful to see. But when we talk about lowest hanging fruit, she couldn't go from not even showing her face to doing a live presentation. That would have been so far out of her comfort zone that that would actually dysregulate and maybe even kind of re-traumatize her. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to re-traumatize ourselves. We want to stretch ourselves just slightly out of your comfort zone. I always like to say, if this is your comfort zone, you want to do this. Like you want to be like right here. You don't want to go here, right? This is going to dysregulate the hell out of you. You want to just go right here. So what is that next thing for you? For her, it was just like working up, slowly showing a little bit more of herself until she was able to show her face. For you, that might not be a problem. It might be a post. If you're used to posting, it might be a live. Maybe it's just saying hi to someone, introducing yourself as the coach for the first time and not the nurse. Whatever that is for you, start small. Practice in front of a mirror. I am such a fan of practicing in front of a mirror. Visibility is vulnerability. And in order to be vulnerable out there and be able and willing to show yourself, you want to take a good look at, how am I with seeing myself? Can I even look at myself in a mirror? A lot of us can't. A lot of us can't. And in my program, there's actually a whole self-love module, and there's mirror work in there. And if you just start doing the Mel Robbins high five, just looking at yourself in the mirror every morning, giving yourself a high five. I know a lot of you have heard of that, but this is a low hanging fruit for any of you that haven't, for any of you that have never done mirror work. Just start by in the morning, looking at yourself in the mirror and giving yourself a high five. You'd be shocked. When I first did this, I cried. I cried. I couldn't believe how vulnerable it felt to just look myself in the eyes and give myself a high five. I was able to incrementally work up, but start looking at yourself in the mirror. Get vulnerable with yourself. Once you're okay with seeing yourself, you'll feel more okay with them seeing you. Record yourself. Make it palatable for people. Take time on the front end to simplify your message. Preparation is not the enemy. Preparation stuck in perfectionism. We want to avoid that. We want to avoid over obsessing, but I'm just going to share. I do. I'm a perfectionist and I'm working with my perfectionist, but it's not a perfect journey. I will obsess over the details and I will notice. It's a work in progress, but preparation will help you. So do it on the front end. And take the time, take as much time as you need. This is worth it. You're not losing anything in taking time to do something you love, to share a message, to overcome your fear of vulnerability. These are all amazing things, people. And I think it's a worthy spending of your time. You cannot separate action from being successful. And if being successful is getting visible and speaking to humans, you can't take away the action. What else can't we take away action from? What else did we learn that involves action? Creating self-belief. How do we know we're believing in ourselves? We are taking the action before we're ready, before we actually know that we can do it. We don't fully believe yet. We have to take action at a certain point before we believe, in order to believe in ourselves. So we have to take action before we feel comfortable getting visible. This is what courage is. I help women create confidence, courage, emotional freedom. Courage, doing things with the fear, because you're human. You're not going to not have fear. I know I haven't been able to fully let it go in 3 years, and I don't really expect it to go anywhere. It's honestly, it's my worthy partner. The imposter was hanging out with me, that like, she's always with me. She's just always with me. There's 2 ways to share on social media. You can impress and inspire, and you can connect. When we're sharing our successes, when we're sharing our wins, we are inspiring and elevating and impressing people, which might also trigger them, because as you've experienced, sometimes we get triggered by people's success, and that's okay. But other people, your people, are going to be really inspired by it. They're going to see it as proof that they can do it too. Those are your people. But sharing vulnerably, sharing fails along the way, that is really important. I want to just share my most recent coach that I'm in a container right now. I'm in a business container. And I was listening to her for years on a podcast. And the day I said yes to her, The day I said yes to the container was I couldn't even believe she shared a really vulnerable story. She experienced this crazy like year of public hate. And after she shared it on the podcast, I went and I like looked it up and I could hear what they were saying about her and everything. And after that, I literally sat in the kitchen. I was like, she's my person. She's my person. As soon as I saw her fail, as soon as I saw her vulnerable, as soon as I saw her talk about this public, I couldn't believe how much value she was pouring into me through her podcast and going through this behind the scenes. I was like, oh my God, like I've always loved her, but now I really love her. There was something about her vulnerability. There was something about her sharing, something that she couldn't share at first because it caused a lot of shame. Something that we do in our program is shedding the shame. That inner child, going back to that painful past, means shedding the shame of it and putting the puzzle pieces together so that you can use your story to inspire and help others in your business. To recap, those 4 steps in getting visible are decide it's worth the journey. It's worth the work, that you're worth it, because the only way you're going to help someone is by getting visible, and they're depending on you. Where would we be if people didn't get visible? Where would society be? Where would the economy and technology be if people were afraid of getting visible? Your people are needing you. Heal. Align your healing and growth journey with your journey of getting visible in your business, and do the mindset work. Do the reframing. Take on that growth mindset, reframe and redefine what failure and rejection and mistakes mean to you. And number 4, take action. And before you're ready, not when you're ready, before you're ready. And what is the lowest hanging fruit? That thing that's available to you that's slightly out of your comfort zone. If you have something to offer, a coaching or health service or product, and I know most of you are aspiring nurse coaches, you want to help people in an aligned way. That's what you were born. You were born healers. You don't need to take hours and hours to figure out your purpose. Your purpose is to serve others. And now your journey of getting visible is using that purpose to help you overcome your fears, making it bigger than you. If you have something to offer, a coaching service or product that helps people, it's your responsibility to be seen. It's your duty. Because every day that goes by that you're not being visible to the people that you can help is another day that you're not helping that person that you're meant to help. And they're going to go pay and follow someone else. And maybe they're not as experienced or as good or as committed or even as resonating with them. If what you do is help people, start by committing to the journey of being seen. You're worth it. And I want to leave you with a small challenge. Haven't already, just get seen in the Facebook group. Get visible. Post a photo and your greatest takeaway from the series so far. That is the end of today's content and our learning portion today on confidently being seen out there for your people and your business. So I'm going to move into right now presenting an amazing opportunity for you to take this confidence journey further with me. How many of us are walking around with like this checklist in our brain, and you want support, you're feeling that feeling, and when you finally say yes and you fill out that application and you submit it, something happens energetically inside your body, this sense of excitement and relief, because it's one less thing that you have to worry about. I've done the thing, I've said the yes, I've deemed myself worthy of the time, the money, the energy. Let's go. This is Kara, and Kara's with us right now.
When I was approached by Amy, I was like, the one thing that resonated with me was about the healing, the trauma, and how my childhood is affecting my life. I didn't even realize it was so much of an issue until I started uncovering so many things. And I have just found that this group has been such a godsend to me. I feel like I have literally survived my whole life, but not really lived it at all. I've been in like survival mode. Resiliency is great, but there's so many things that I didn't even know were inhibiting me and holding me back. Today was especially great because I've been doing this Amy, I've been making posts and putting them on Instagram, completely unfiltered, no makeup, hair mess, everything. Just being like, this is me. I need to start looking at myself. I need to stop over scrutinizing myself and just recognizing that everybody has imperfections and flaws that they need to, that you just accept. You know, they're writing right next to you. And so, to be honest, this has been the best thing I think I've ever done in my adult life. I'm a late bloomer. I went back to school really late. I got my nursing degree like 11 years ago. I'm 60 now, and I wished I had done something like this years and years and years ago, but it's never
Mm.
too late. And I feel like it's renewed me. Like I feel hopeful. I feel energized. I feel so optimistic of the future. And I was just hitting a slump with my coaching where my momentum was slowing down. I wasn't getting the clients as readily as I would have liked. And because of this group, I've been able to like connect with EFT practitioners. That's really helped me. I've been able to get a coaching client from our little container, which has been wonderful. And I'm just telling you, if you are sitting on the fence, like the one thing Amy said to me during our clarity call was, you know, choose myself, choose myself. And that's the one thing I've never been able to do. So I would encourage anyone that is on the fence or you don't quite know, you can only gain from this. And this was so impactful to me where I put this on my credit card in a heartbeat. It was like literally, bam, done. It's sent. Here we go. And, you know, I'm not sweating about when it gets paid. All I know is this has been such a huge impact to me. And I am so grateful for this group and our CTM group and for Amy herself. So that's what I need to say. Choose yourself. That's the best thing that you can take from this, because it will definitely help you grow in so many areas, professionally, personally, intimately, even just looking at yourself differently. And that's where I'm at right now, where I just see growth coming through every day. Every day I'm getting stronger, more confident. Today I put makeup on and did my hair and did my little video. And I'm sure in time it'll be so easy and comfortable for me to talk about the coaching and talk about, but right now that's not even what I'm doing. I'm just talking about how scared I am to look at myself and how hard it is for me to come on and not over scrutinize, not over, you know, rehearse and all those things. And it has just been life changing. So that's my little snippet. And I just wanted to share that with the group. And I'm so happy to be here. And I feel like if you had, I'd do it again if I could, but I don't think I need to, because I feel like you've done the work. I've done the work. And I feel like I'm going to come out of this, like hit the ground running. No problem.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, Kara, for sharing all of that. I just want to express my appreciation. And I do have one question for you because you remember our clarity call, and I remember you being faced with the decision, and I could see the wheels spinning. And what was, like, if you were to say the one thing, what made you say yes? Right? Like, what was that one made you say yes?
Um,
Because there's something that has to like sort of like just click and you just
yeah.
do it. And what is that for you?
Well, the one thing that was holding me back initially, and I'll be honest, was the price. But then after I thought about it, I realized that even though I have got some counseling experience and I have all this wealth of experience and knowledge of like mindset and all these things, nothing really worked because I still had such an unlove for myself and such an unworthiness, which has been the theme throughout my whole life. People don't stay, they abandon me, they leave, they don't give me reasoning, they don't explain why, they just go. And I recognize that if I was more confident in myself and really believed that I was worthy, it wouldn't even matter, because I'd be like, fine, fuck you, go. Because you're not good enough to be here if that's the way you would handle yourself. So for me, it came to me as I need to do something different. And something about when you said choose yourself, like that was the phrase that it just resonated with me. And I thought, you know what, for once in my life, money be damned, convenience be damned, I'm going to choose myself. And what's the worst that can happen? Even if I come out of this and I'm a little more confident, that's okay, or a little more able to speak what my truth and be authentic. Authenticity is one of my huge core values, probably the most important one. And all I know is that I just want to build on that. So for some reason, you resonated with me. That choose yourself phrase was just it just really came to my heart. And I'm so glad that I took that leap. And I feel like I would have paid 10 times more for this
Yeah.
course, but don't raise the price. But that's just me saying, like I hear all these things that people spend tens and $20,000 on this self-awareness and what have you. And I think, do they come out of it with this? I don't think they do. I don't think
Yeah.
they do. Maybe they do, but I'm just like, I could never replace what I've learned in these weeks. And I just want to keep going, keep going. And maybe I'll be you one day, Amy, and I'll have my little group of confident people signing up to say, let me help you be confident. That would be, to me, that would be the biggest feather in my cap.
You would be me, but the Kara version. So you're like the
Exactly. Yes,
I always
exactly.
say that. I have my role models too, and I'm like, I want to be like Mel Robbins, but the Amy version of Mel
There you
Robbins.
go. There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. I get some long
Uh,
earrings just like Amy and get my jersey on, and it would be great.
Kara, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing. I really appreciate you, and I will see you tonight at our call.
Yes, you will. See you later.
All right, awesome. Thanks for that, Kara. Hi, Stacy. It's so good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you too. I love coming to your classes, even though I've like
Mm.
learned the stuff that you've taught. Like, there's always some tidbit that, and probably more than just tidbits that you pick up. So it's great. I know when I came to you, like, I was definitely like, didn't feel like, definitely had that imposter syndrome, and also just felt like very disconnected between cognitively, I know I can do this, and I don't feel like I can do this.
Mm.
And now, and especially like with going out with like my husband and his friends that are all like super highly educated. And now, when they're like, what do you do? And I'm just like, I'm a holistic nurse and coach. And they're like, what's that? And I just confidently tell them, like, I specifically women, heal. And I can do this in such a shorter time than years of therapy. They're usually like, oh, really? Wow. Tell me more. Or that's really cool. And I don't feel like hiding in a corner because I don't have this Ivy League education, because I know that I belong in that room. And I remember starting with you, you had said at some point in one of the classes, like, feel now like I belong in any room that I walk into. And I was like, yeah, that's really wow. I don't know that I'll ever feel that. And now I'm just like, yeah, I'm comfortable in this room. I belong in this room. My skill
Mm.
set may be different than theirs, but I belong here.
Mm.
And it's really wonderful.
I love that. When I think of you, Stacy, I think of the heart and mind like on different tracks, right? That was the main thing. And I just want to speak to women that are experiencing that, because what that is the software programming. And that's what it is, right? Because we're like, oh, we can see our future. We could see the vision. Yeah, I want to start this business. I even know, I mean, I have women that tell me like, I don't, I don't have a problem with confidence. I actually have women come in that are like, I didn't really come to you to create confidence. Like I was coming to you really to do the deeper work. And what I want to say is when we know something in our minds, but when we've got this thing that won't let us move, sometimes I call it the 50-pound backpack that's just like holding us back. And it's almost like our body won't move. Or we can know something and we could say something, but there's a mismatch in how we're feeling. Like our nervous system gets dysregulated inside. That is the software programming. That's all that is. And that's what it's like for so many. That's what it is to just kind of sprinkle positivity on top of something or sprinkle a new software program with the old one still running. And that's what we do. We get inside, we get deeper, we get to the places that are scary to go to on our own. And I want to say we do this work safely and gently, right? But it evokes we're going to feel uncomfortable emotions. We're going to feel, and that's what we're avoiding. We're avoiding the discomfort. We have to actually drop into it.
Well, sometimes we don't even know that it's there. It's
Hmm.
something that you didn't know affected you. And I remember that with some of the group members of going back and going, wow, I didn't realize and that that was a thing. And that was a thing holding me back. And that was also just really powerful. I love the fact that it wasn't like, and I remember you saying this, like, it's not just saying, you know, I'm wonderful, I'm fabulous, I can do anything, and just saying it over and over again and it becoming true if you don't believe it. And I love the fact that the work you did gets you to where you believe those things. So then if you're saying something positive, it's not going against a deep wound or deep belief that you have. And that's, I think, where that real shift comes, in that you gave us the skills and ability to be able to go deep, figure out what those real deep wounds are that are holding you back, and work through those, and teaching us all about those emotions and how to not just push them aside or, stuff them in or explode them out, but ride that wave,
Yeah.
deal with it, feel it, and heal from it. And that was, I mean, I've, you know, been through a lot of shit in my life and a lot of therapy related to that. And the month, I think with us, I think our group was still at 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that 3 months was like amazing. I was actually really surprised to see that you didn't up your prices so much. Like, I don't think you did at all. So it's like a great
Yeah.
deal, like worth every penny, because you'll
Mm.
save yourself 20 years of therapy.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate you sharing that. That was beautiful. And it's so good
Thank
to
you
see
for
you.
teaching and doing this.
Yeah. And just
So
so you know,
thank you for getting your shit together so you can help us get our shit together.
I really appreciate you sharing that, Stacy.
Thank
And
you.
awesome to see you. Thanks. Just again, to recap what's included in the program: group coaching sessions, co-working sessions with your peers, community support, and amazing like-minded nurse coaches on the same journey with you, me as the coach, tools, resources, coursework for life, the bonus of the confidence series program, the complete confidence series, the bonus of Amy in your pocket, that chat support, and really want you to get in on a clarity call, because I already know you're my person and I know that you know I'm your person. So let's go. Let's do this thing together. Thanks for hanging out with me. And everybody, I'm just going to say goodbye.